wishing you all what we say in North, Choti Diwali, and also Dhanteras. And on today afternoon, when we are having Diwali tomorrow, it's heartening to see that to get illuminated by a knowledge by a person who is knowledgeful and illuminates the entire sessions with the topics which touch different perspectives of law. And that is why we took a topic of the Transgender Persons Protection of Right Act 2019 and what is the overview. And as we all know that Adilakshmi Logamurthy is not only an advocate, but also a social activist, taking up various issues and perspectives of law, which help to disseminate knowledge through different social mediums, including the webinars like ours. And we all know that she and her team took 100-hour sessions for the students who were interested for the judicial services, subordinate as well as superior. But I would take a step further that those sessions were also enriching for professionals as well, because those were the topics which affects a common man as well. And today's topic, as we all know, transgender persons have different issues as to whether it is an abrogation or in addition to the others law, and what are the rights, whether they can be discriminated. And since we all know that the Act of 2019 is an act which is in the evolving stage, but what are the rights available as to whether one can have its own identity, whether one can undergo surgery, change the sex, what are the functions of the National Council for Transgenders. These are the broader lines on which Adilakshmi would be taking over. And I would request, and we are happy to share that on a festive day, she has taken time to give the insights. Over to you, ma'am, and just keep the slightly camera or yourself down because not even your neck is being visible. Yeah, now it's fine. Now it's fine. Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, my dear brother Vikas, and good evening to everyone who have been present here today on a festive eve. And a special welcome to Senior Counsel, Mr. A. Tyagarajan sir, a very senior person who's been practicing with us in the Madras Bar, to join in for such a special session. In fact, we decided the topic only yesterday late evening, and we are in today. We knew very well this is an offbeat topic and we'll have very less audience joining in because of the festive mood. But we all know Vikas has his YouTube channel and is very popular. People will be getting to know about this topic much later. So I prefer to take this session forward. Thank you for inviting me, and this topic is definitely close to my heart and very pet to me as such. Before going into the act, we should know what is the background for such a legislation that has come into our country. We all know the NALSA judgment. The NALSA judgment is that which gave the base for these kind of legislations to have a footing in our country. The Honorable Supreme Court gave a different view, a landmark judgment, reiterating the rights of the transgender person, and that is a very great innovative move by the Honorable Supreme Court. That is the longest step of judicial activism. When you go through the NALSA judgment, we will know much about the life of transgenders. It is really a well-researched judgment, I would say. We will not have time to go into the nuances of the judgment as such, what it says. But one thing was very clear. The judgment told that a self-identified person can call himself a trans person. What is a self-identified? If a person whose biological sex is different from the identification that he perceives in his mind due to his own biological or the mindset, he can identify himself as a trans person. And he has a right for that. And this society of ours, the Indian society of ours, if you go into the history, there was a period when the trans persons have been given a higher pedestal. Even in very few states in North India, we come to know still the transgender persons are looked in a very higher pedestal. Even they are invited during their festivals to get the blessings from them. But this is not same through the length and breadth of the country. Everywhere the trans person are being ridiculed. And this thought process has to undergo a lots of change in the whole society as such. So when the Supreme Court gave a beautiful judgment in Nalsa, a self-identified transgender who has a right to call themselves as a third gender, and they have to be treated on par with other genders, giving them a greater right. In short, we have to say that they have to be treated as humans. The human right principles have to be reiterated in this particular judgment. But it took a few years for this legislation has to come into the place. Again, recently, we had one judgment again by the Honorable Supreme Court, Navtej judgment, Johor's judgment, which says about the Section 377 of the Indian Penal Code, speaking about the unnatural offense, which has been made unconstitutional partially, not in whole. Section 377 of the Indian Penal Code partially has been made unconstitutional, the unnatural offense as such. But we always had a thought process, only this unnatural offenses is only connected to the LGBTIQA community as such. Even a natural men or a woman, if they go against the natural sexual process, they could be termed as committing an unnatural offense. But now we have a judgment for them. The Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Act 2019, and we have the rules for it framed. And this came into force on 10th January 2020. Because of the COVID-19 situation and the pandemic, this actually even the lawyers community do not know about this particular legislation. When this webinar series of ours, I tell not only beyond CLC, our respected brother Srinivasa Raghavan's Lex webinar and our own Legal Zealite, when we take subjects like this, offbeat subjects, many lawyers, they used to come forward, even senior advocates used to tell, I never knew about this subject. So when we deliberated earlier, that was the same thing. So we are happy that so many of you have joined in today. First, we have to understand this act applies to whole of India as such, and it deals about the rights of transgender. As a person who have been traveling with the transgenders community for a very long time, more than 2 decades, I would not be happy with the provisions of this legislation. It doesn't speak about the marriage rights of the transgender, the surrogacy related topic which have to be dealt with for them, the adoption rights. But without having anything, at least the friends from the transgender community have a legislation to support them. And in section 2 of this particular legislation, there are so many definitions that have been given. But we need not go through all the definitions, but we have to understand a little bit about few of the definitions, what it is going to say. One is family. What is a family? Why should a legislation speak about a family? In a definition, and to be very straight, family means a group of people related by blood or marriage or by adoption, made in accordance with law. So there is a legislation to tell about a subject which we all know, because we are all forming part of a family, whether it's going to be a nuclear family or a joint family or whichever family, every one of us has a family, right? The end of the day, wherever you are, you want to get connected to your family. Even in this COVID-19 situation, when we are apart, we got connected to our family. But one community which the family itself disowns is the transgender community. It's very, very pathetic to know many of the transgender persons, when they identify themselves that they are not normal with others, they will not even understand. They'll be adolescent, they'll be in schools, or few families do try to adjust, but many of the families disown them. So this has found a place in the definition that family is a very, very important definition, because the roles to be played by them and what will be the penalty if they don't play the role is being done in the other sections that is to follow. And inclusive education is one more definition you have to understand. I see many of them when they speak about the transgenders, or rather when they speak of the right of the transgenders, they used to tell they should have a separate schools, separate colleges. Why separate is the question. Transgender persons should not be excluded from our society. We should understand they are part of the human community as such. So the law takes a longer view to make us understand that inclusive education, wholesome education for a transgender person is very, very important and pertinent at this juncture, so that a family support and an inclusive education will make the transgender person will stand on his or her own legs. And again, they speak of one council called the National Council. We have a lot of commissions for the Women's Commission, Human Rights Commission. And here there is a council for the transgender persons, and it is called National Council for Transgender Persons. And it is spoken in section 16. We'll be speaking about this later. The very important definition which everyone should understand is under section 2K of this legislation is about the transgender person. What this section tells, who is a transgender person? We all know transgender person is neither a male nor a female. For example, a person is born a female, but they self-identify themselves to have the characters of a male, or a male person identify themselves to be a female. There is not only the trans women, there is also trans men. People I know about the trans women, but trans men are also there. When you go into the provisions of this legislation, or as an advocate or as a human being, when you go inside these kind of legislations, don't take your mind to the thought process of how will they live their life, how will their surgery happens, all these things. Just keep it aside. Just have one humble request. Think them as human beings. They are humans. They are very good people. I know we face lots and lots of difficulties because of them during our travel in our trains, local trains, or during our travels in the toll gates. We have seen issues which has been because of the transgender person's beggary or their kind of behavior. Even in our own life, we have seen men and women committing lot of mistakes. So transgender persons also do have certain people doing these kind of acts. Don't think all the transgender persons will be like this. It is not that way. So law says, or the section 2K says here is, a transgender person, I'll read this verbatim for you. A transgender person means a person whose gender does not match with the gender assigned to that person at birth, and includes trans men and trans women, whether or not that such person has undergone the surgery, the sex transition surgery, or the hormone therapy, or the laser therapy, or such other therapies. A person with intersex variations, and QR people, and people who call themselves Hijra, Aravani, all these kind of peoples fall under these category. So you should understand one thing: transgender people, transgender persons, transgender friends, sometimes they do not undergo the surgery as such. Even without a surgery, they can identify themselves as a transgender person. That what the NALSA judgment reiterated: self-identified trans person, and also a person who has undergone a surgery can be called himself as a transgender person. So the transgender person or should not be discriminated. Law is very clear. There should not be any kind of discrimination or unfair treatment for a transgender person just because he is a transgender, either in his employment or in his education or in his treatment in society, anywhere. So the denial or unfair treatment in the educational institutions or the employment or in their treatment in the healthcare services. But here in Chennai, where do I live, or in Tamil Nadu, the healthcare treatment for the transgender is very well given, one by the general hospitals and by the voluntary health services. The VHS is doing a yeoman service for the betterment of the transgenders' health-related issues. But we have here that because they are a transgender person, not only in their educational or the employment status, even in the healthcare, they had been denied the opportunity given to others. And the right of movement. Many transgender people, they come out only in night. They will not be seen in the mornings. This was there even in Chennai before 10 years or so. But I see a lot of trans friends coming out in open, that too after these two judgments, the 2014 NALSA judgment and the recent judgment on the 377 by the Honorable Supreme Court. I see a lot of them have got a confidence in themselves. So the judicial activism, as an activist, I appreciate at this juncture, these kind of judgments are welcome. Because of these judgments, we have a legislation for the betterment of the transgender friends. An unfair treatment at any level is not welcome. That will be penal. Penal action is following under Section 18. Right now, we have to understand they have to be treated equally. Article 14 applies to all, including the transgender person. There are few countries like Sri Lanka where if you are identified by your surgery as a trans man or a trans woman, in India we call them as trans men and trans women. There, after the surgery, their identification will be women or men. So they go into the normal gender category. That is what the trans persons are aiming at. When only drawback will be that they will not be able to have the natural sex or have a procuration of children as a natural women will be having through all the process. But their womanhood is equally or much more than, as if I tell, my son will be taken care of them much better than what I am doing. My dear friends Sudha or Jaya, trans women, when they come to my home, the love my son shows to them and the love, the motherly love they show, they are born men and they are converted themselves into trans women. You have to look in to see the way they take care of the children or the womanly things. The motherhood is natural for a trans woman. Why can't they be put in on par with women? That's what they are aiming at. But right now they are called trans women and trans men. And again, when we go into the provisions of Section 4, 5, 6, and 7, the NALSA judgment was a welcome move where they were allowed to identify themselves as a self-identified person. If I can identify myself as a trans man or a trans woman, that is enough. But the present act has brought in some difficulties for them. That is, they have to go before the district magistrate or the district collector, way some places they are called. They have to apply as per the rules under Form 1. There is an application to apply before them to get themselves a ID card to state themselves to be a trans person. That was not before. The judgment told that you are a third gender, you can identify. This is okay. You go to the district magistrate to get the under Form 1, get trans person ID card. That is welcome. They do agree for that. But what is the problem is that they have to get in one more ID if they undergo a surgery. If they undergo, that is the ID to identify their surgery has happened. What happens to them is nowadays only we have the proper surgeries happening in the hospitals. Previously, they used to have surgeries which they used to have their own self. Their own self, after the surgery, some people would have died also. So that was not a legalized surgery. That was not welcome at all. They do not have documentation for it. The present law, what it says is that when you get a identification as a transgender, you have to get the certificate from the concerned hospital, the senior doctor, the medical superintendent, or the chief medical officer from the concerned, a certification. Only after the certification, you can go before the district magistrate to get yourself identified. There is the problem. The law has come in. Before this legislation, before this piece of legislation, our transgender friends were easy to get the identification because it was just told by them, I'm a trans person. The ration card also in Tamil Nadu used to carry that identity. Now they have something. Yes, of course, an identification and account of transgender is legally needed for certain reasons, but making it very, very stringent makes it difficult for them. So they have to understand the persons who had undergone the surgery without any proper medical process as such. It is very difficult to get all these certificates from the chief doctors or the chief medical officers as such. So this has to be taken into consideration. We are planning to file a writ petition to overcome, because many of the elder transgender women or transgender persons as such are being denied this right of having the ID card, because their self-identity after even the surgery, which is not recognized today because of the medical science growth is there, and all the government hospitals are advised to give them free surgery as such. Even in certain countries, you have the advanced surgeries happening for them, which we do not have in India, as I know from few of the medical practitioners. Their advanced surgery, we will not be able to find whether a person is a trans man or a normal man or a trans woman or a normal woman. That is the advancement of science. But here, even though the judgment has given the self-identification, this is a major problem that's happening today. Why am I reiterating here is, we are all advocates. We are the voice of these people, our friends from transgender community. We have to go forward. We have to fight for them. When they come before us, they will have multitude of problems before them. We have to sit and understand ourselves who a transgender person is. First, understanding themselves is very, very important. And I don't request any one of you to have any sympathy towards them. Only thing, our approach should be very, very empathetical to bring in a solution for our friends from the transgender community as such. Now, looking at the paucity of time, I'm not going section by section. I'll just skip certain things and I'll go through few other sections as such. So the transgender persons have a right. The welfare measures of government should never be like that hurts the sentiments of the transgenders. So the government has been given a role under Section 8 to have so many welfare measures, and these welfare measures, the transgender persons have to be included in the normal community as such. So that their sentiments, that has to be given a great respect. Here, the transgender person has a right to stay with the family as such. And under Section 12, it is stated, no child shall be separated from parents or immediate family on the ground of being a transgender, except on an order of a competent court in the interest of such child. Certain families do not take care of the transgender child, or the transgender child will not be able to escape from the clutches of the family as such. We have seen transgender children being chained, not being fed properly, and these children, they will be compelled to lead a life which they do not know why they are thinking in this process. They many times, if you go and see the transgender children, they'll tell, Auntie, I think I'm a female, but my family says otherwise. I'm confused. I do not know. Certain children try to escape from the family. Certain families, they go to the extent of putting them even in mental asylums. They are not only the government hospitals, they'll put them in unethical asylums where the children will be compelled to do certain acts which will be pathetic even to look at the situation. As an activist, if you go into the ground level, then you will understand what is the mindset of this community. Law alone will not going to set all right for all our transgender friends. We have to work a lot at the community level. They have a right to reside in the home. They have right not to be excluded from the family or the community. They have a right to enjoy every status at family or village, wherever he lives. Everything is to be equal on par with the other gender. The family is unable to take care, then the child has to be placed before a rehabilitation center or before the child welfare committee. They will place the child in the proper care, because sometimes when the families come to me, they tell, I can take care of my child. I, as a mother, understand my child, but my family, extended family, do not permit me to stay in the family. I have 3 children. Only one children is a transgender children. So I have to fend for myself. I understand. Kindly take my son, put him in some other place. I can understand he's a girl, he's a daughter. Put him in some other place. Take care of them. This will be from certain parents, but not every parent does like that. But here the law protects a child to help the child, a transgender child, to reside with the parents, the equal dignity which is given to the other gender children, and either with reside in the village or the town where it is, where the child is being residing, with the equal dignity. So no one in the community should speak ill of a transgender person. That is what the law here reiterates. And when you go to section 16, it speaks about the National Council for the Transgender Persons as such. The Union Minister in charge of the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment will be the chairperson of this National Council. And there are so many people forming part of this council as such. The Minister of State in charge will be the Vice Chairman, and the Secretary to the Government of India in charge of Ministry of Social and Justice will be part of this, and one representative each from the Ministries of Health, Family Welfare, Home Affairs, Housing and Urban Affairs, Minority Affairs, Human Resources, Development, Rural Development, Labor and Employment, departments of legal affairs, pensions and pensioners welfare. So many departments have their secretaries as joint secretaries forming part of it. So a transgender person has to be given home, should be taken care of, about the health and the housing, everything. So everybody from every department, every ministry find a place in this National Council for the Transgender Person, and one person from the National Human Rights Commission and National Women's Commission will also find a place in this committee, National Council as such. So the representatives will be from every nook and corner of India. It will be from north, south, east, west, northeast region, everywhere. It will be covered by the government officials. So everyone, it is through the breadth and length of this country, everyone have to be covered, and 5 experts to represent non-governmental organizations or associations working for the transgender persons. So NGOs do form part of this National Council formed for the benefit of the transgender person, because only the NGOs have been playing the role what the government should have played so far. Many of the non-governmental organizations working for the transgender's benefit, they know in and out of a transgender person. Here in Tamil Nadu, we have so many organizations. The predominant one is Sagodran by Mr. Sunil Menon. He's the predominant one. They've been working for very long, more than 30 decades for the welfare of the transgender. I'm an advisor for that organization. So these NGOs do find a place here because they will be giving the input for everyone, even in the government or the ministry, what is the life of a transgender is. So their inclusion is very much essential. And this is one thing that has to be appreciated in this new legislation of ours. So many people form part of this National Council of the Transgenders as such. And we have to think about the penalties. Okay, even today, after the legislation, many do not know when this poster of ours was circulated. Many called me. Vikas requested me to post it on the Facebook. After the Facebook posting, there's so many people called me. Do we have a law for them? The call was from the advocates. So many didn't know there was a legislation for them. Is it a bill? That was the question. No, it is an enacted legislation now. We have it. How did I oversight? This was not called from the junior advocates. There were very many senior advocates. They never knew. They all knew about the NALSA judgment. They knew about the 377 of IPC being made unconstitutional. Somehow because of COVID-19, they oversight. They didn't notice that there is a legislation. So never mind. At least now we know about it. So this is what we have to look into as lawyers. We should not miss sight of certain social beneficial legislations like this. All social beneficial legislations which we look into, this one also forming part of the present wagon into the social beneficial legislation. This legislation as such is very, very important. As lawyers, you can practice. Don't think you will not earn a penny in all the social beneficial legislation. I practice many of the social beneficial legislation. You sometimes get good money in that also. Imagine a rich transgender person comes for the fighting of the rights. Won't he pay for you? Definitely. I see many of the lawyers telling in these offbeat kind of legislations, we have to work hard. Definitely, we have to work on as an activist. That's what we are made of. Lawyers are for the voice of the community. We are here to voice out for them. So we have a larger role to play. Even your earning part will be taken care, because the organization I was mentioning, when you file a writ or if you do, the organizations do take care of the fees of the lawyers themselves. So never mind taking all these matters, it gives you lot of satisfaction, your moral responsibility towards the society. So the penalty is spoken under section 18. What is the problem that, but actually this penalty is not enough as such. What is the transgender problems or issues is that when there is a issue happening for her, when there, if I as a woman, I go and give a complaint, even my complaint will not be taken many times. But when a trans person goes and gives a petition before a police, the first thing happens is that what mistake you did. So there should be a sensitization happening for the police personnel. And now the police academy, I'm part of the Tamil Nadu Police Academy's guest faculty, and recently I had a few opportunities to take to the enactments through the National Police Academy as well. So they should be made understood that these kind of legislations should be understood in the right perspective as such. The law has come in to protect the transgender persons are targeted for various reasons. They have been discriminated in your education, in your employment. If you're discriminated just because you're belonging to a particular gender, then how it will be? Then what is for constitution? What is all article 19, 14, 19, 15, 21? What is all for? We will all look into that perspective. So we have a lot of scope to bring in lot of judicial activism by working on these legislations and making much more amendments. Here, no harm should happen for a trans person, either mentally, physically, sexually, anyway. So any kind of abuse will not happen to a transgender person by anyone, neither by the family nor by the outsiders or anyone. Anyone who does a harm, they will be getting a punishment. Then minimum is going to be 6 months and the maximum is 2 years and with fine. So this is not enough, or this is not sufficient. But before this act came into force, I used to tell, why do you need to have a separate legislation for a trans women? You can bring them under the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act. They will get a solution under these things. But when I finish this, my mind is not very much satisfied. Why? Because it doesn't speak about all the right of a transgender person. Of course, we have a legislation. We are happy that they have some way the legal arena have understood them. But I should say, the transgender person's property rights. Many person, when they self-identify themselves as a transgender, the family do not give them their property rights. What will be their position today? Many of them, when we had the recent judgment in the Honorable Supreme Court regarding the women rights to property, what will a trans woman have? If the trans woman has self-identified herself as a trans woman, and before the district magistrate, she has applied and got a certificate as a trans woman, why can't she treated as a woman on par with any other women? We have to look into that perspective. If there is an issue, we can very well take the matter before the honorable courts and we can get them the needed justice. So property rights have to be taken into consideration. And one more right, transgender persons' marriage rights. Many do not know that these transgender persons do enter into a matrimonial relationship. Legally, their marriages are not welcome today. Why? Because the marriage laws in India is not common for everyone. We do not have a common civil code. None of the personal laws is common. They follow the religion. If you follow all the religious marriage laws, look into the Hindu Marriage Act or the Christian Marriage Act or the Parsi Marriage Act or the Special Marriage Act. Everywhere the marriage is said, a marriage is between a man and a woman. So a man and a woman, a man and a wife is what the laws of our country relating to marriage defines. So in this definition, a marriage by a trans person, whether whether two trans person, a trans man and a trans woman, if they are willing to marry, whether they can marry under this, whether the law permits, it's a big question. So we have to work on this front. So when we bring in a legislation, there is other legislation, corresponding legislation that needs a change or need a thought process to be put by us, where the marriage lives of the transgender person's life. But recently, the Honorable High Court in Madurai, the Madras bench in Madurai, gave a judgment for the registrars of marriages to register a marriage of a transgender person under the Hindu Marriage Act when they went to the court, because their ID card says it's a women, trans women. So they can take them into consideration. So this kind of activism is possible. The judicial activism, the judiciary is much more active, doing activism rather than the normal public, which we have to come forward to do it. The transgender persons is protected more on the legal front than the social front, because the mindset of the society has to undergo a very great change. And before this legislation, or even before that, the transgender persons used to do a lot of adoptions. But actually, here again, the adoptions, we have personal laws pertaining to each religion, and certain religions do not take adoption as a part of their culture or customs. Muslims, for example, do not have a culture of adoption inbuilt in their religious laws as such, in their religion as such. Hindus, we do have a law for adoption as such. But the recent enactment of the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Act of 2015 do recognize all religion people taking into the care and custody of the children under them. A sort of adoption is possible following the guidelines of CARA principles, where the principles have to be followed for adoption. But whether a trans woman or a trans man can take into adoption, it's a big question again. And again, going into the surrogacy. What is surrogacy as such? The artificial way of getting your child by a couple or anyone for that matter. We see not only couples, individual men or women are also getting surrogate children. We have no laws for surrogacy in India. The bills which came for surrogacy, it's all pending. And even if the bill sees the light of the day, it is all conventional. It is too very strict. Even a normal man or a woman cannot get a surrogate mother as we are getting right now. India is a capital of surrogacy. Here, there are lots and lots of surrogacy happening here. So many people get surrogate children here, and it's all done by the hospitals in a very secret manner. Till a surrogacy law is coming into force, these things is possible here. But once the law comes into force, what will happen to the transgender person right now who are adopting their children, whether legal or illegal, whether it's there, they all like to have children. But we see many of the transgender do adopt a transgender themselves as their children, irrespective of the age. The transgender who is a senior transgender, for them, age, religion, nothing counts. A transgender, if she becomes a transgender at 20 and she's 30, if a trans person comes into their community in the age of 40, this 30-year will become the mother of the 40-year-old. So they have a system, a Jamaat system of adopting the transgenders to themselves. And for that, you have to bring in a transgender persons to understand the real working of their system, or the real sufferings or real life they lead in. But one thing I should say, moving with them for a very long time, here I should thank my husband, Dr. Logomurthy, who has been helping me in all these causes, because of his support only, I could start working for the transgender community. Because when I started, it is way long back, more than 20 years before. When I started working for them, people used to comment, you look so young and beautiful, why you should go and work along with them? You will be called in a different name. But he was one person who stood by me and supported in my work all through, so that I could take forward this work. Today, everybody are appreciating my work. But when I started this work, no one appreciated me. In fact, my own friends left me for doing this kind of work. And even today, few people get jittery when I sit with them or eat with them, do every activity. It is very normal. When I tell them, I see people getting jittery. No, it's not that. It's very easy. Just think them as human being, as I think them. For me, Sudha and Jaya, like any other friends whom I have, they are not trans women, or they are not only humans, they are my friends, they are my sisters. That's how I perceive in my mind. My mindset is that maybe I'm molded this way, but I place a humble request. This is a very small legislation. This gives us a very little right for the transgender persons. They have much more right. We have to deliberate into it, much more bigger sessions, and we have to look into it. As lawyers, we have to file in more public interest litigations, and when we file the public interest litigations, we have to consult with the transgender community as such, because they have their own thought process that is very different from us before going in a public interest litigation. I welcome all the friends who are interested. Let's join hands. And now I stop. If we have a Q&A session, we can take it. Before I stop, I should thank my dear brother Vikas for inviting me for this session, and all my dear friends who are joined in here for this special session on the transgender persons. This is the first step. We are taking it forward. And this step is not going to be the final step. We are going to tread a longer step as such. Maybe you would have liked this session. I wish you all a happy Diwali and all the festival. Before we end, I'll take in the Q&A sessions. Over to you, Vikas.
Yeah. Thank you, sister. I never thought that it could be such an amazing session. And as you actually said, that it's an eye-opener for not only for one never realizes that there is an act. Generally, one connotes when one if is blessed with a child, that one sees that, but what are the ways, what are the remedies, how this act has transformed. And since, as you said, I can say that it is more like baby steps, but I am quite sure that the baby steps taken by platforms like ours and yours, or Mr. Srinivas, or so many people, I will say, even Live Law, Beyond Law, when they sensitize the society at large, that yes, definitely a lot of things do happen. And like you said, that surrogacy, marriages, these are the few challenges. But at the same time, in the section, in the S Act, we will say that it is in addition and not in derogation to any other law. So it is, and these are all challenges, like if you remember while this was Navtej Johor's case, they were saying as to whether 20 years ago, whether this would have been acceptable. So certain laws keep on changing. I was also watching your webinar of Mr. Arvind Datar. He said that, you see, you have to have a command over some subject, and that is why there are 5 judgments on more than 2,000 times. So he says that one was how you change the law with changing at winter time. One is how you also change with the needs of the society. And these acts actually give recognition for all the positiveness. And let me check it out. I suppose he has joined S. Mukund Narayan, whom you had recommended for a session. He's the same one?
Yes.
Yeah. You had recommended that.
He will come. He will join you in December. Definitely, he's going to take a session for you in December.
S. Mukund Narayan. Yeah, I'd in fact contacted him. I don't think we have any questions, because once you have elucidatedly explained everything, except for one judgment, there's another judgment which we have discussed. We have discussed Navtej Johor and Nalsar, and then is K. Pratishka Yashini versus the chairman. This yes. You can explain.
This is one. Here it happened in the Honorable Madras High Court. Honorable Justice Bhavani Subbarayan was the judge. Here, a transgender woman, she wanted to apply for the post of the sub-inspector of police. Stage by stage, everything was denied. This was after the Nalsa judgment, actually. The Honorable Justice Bhavani Subbarayan was not the judge. She was the lawyer in this matter, and she got a beautiful judgment for us. After that, she is now the present Honorable Justice of our Madras High Court. She worked in this as an activist and a lawyer. What happened? She couldn't write the exam because the third gender column wasn't there. So she couldn't take up the exams, or she couldn't apply. So first thing, she had to get that order to application, then for the interview, then for getting a job. Now she's a sub-inspector of police with the Tamil Nadu Police Department, and she's doing a yeoman service. This was possible because there was a judgment in the form of Nalsa. Actually, Vikas was talking about the change, transformation in the mindset of the society and the judiciary. One judgment by the Delhi High Court, the Nas Foundation judgment told that 377 is unconstitutional. Then again, it went to Supreme Court and it was made, again, there was lots of confusion whether it's constitutional or unconstitutional. Now in 2019, we have a different judgment. So the thought process keeps changing. The society, change is one thing, it's inevitable in any society. And the change in the society will bring a change in the judicial system, the thought process, and also in the legislations. 20 years, as Vikas told, this legislation was never possible because working for the transgender community itself was not possible for me. Even at that point of time, I was a stubborn customer. I used to do the work. There wasn't any takers for it. At least today, we have so many people sitting for this. When I used to tell there is an awareness session, only 2 people or 3 people used to come. I used to feed them, give them gifts, give them compliments. At least the 3 people stay in my sessions. It was all live sessions. Whatever sessions I used to take, there'll be lots of audience. But when I take on transgenders, people will not even come to me. And even when I have a poster along with a transgender friend of mine, they will say and they will tell me, advise me, this is not for your good. This is not good for your family. But today I can proudly say the very same friends who were telling all these things are part of my organization working for the transgenders themselves. That is the transformation in all these 20 years I've made. And it's not that, it's not only the other people, my own family. Look at all the transgender friends of mine as my other friends. They have the access to my home. We eat together, we enjoy together. And that kind of transformation as a society is needed. We have to employ them. We have to help them educate. Here in the prestigious college, here in Chennai, Loyola College, every year they induct transgender persons as students. This year, 10 transgender persons have been inducted in their college as the new entrants. So these kind of inclusive educational system, these kind of familial setup, many of the transgenders have been united with their parents, maybe not literally going inside the home, but they have connections with them, they are treated. So these kind of transformation is possible because of the NGOs, they are doing the work, and this judgment will be a welcome change in the life of the transgender persons.
No, in fact, they all say that there are 3 stages of any process. First is an opposition, then is the silence, and then third is the acceptance. So the way people have actually gathered, if you would see on the platform itself, tomorrow being a Diwali, today being a Choti Diwali, as well as Dhanteras, so many people gathering, and I'm also seeing a lot of people watching us live on the Facebook, that people have actually changed. And another facet is after these lockdown period, people have started believing that knowledge can be shared at any platform. Right now, like on the previous webinar also, we said that I'm here practicing in Chandigarh, you are at Madras, and then we are connecting for a common cause that people could be sensitized. Probably one question has come out. Gender sensitization in the community, especially heads of institutions across institutions, because even after progressive law, transgenders individuals continue to be mocked, harassed, even while applying for the name change in the certificates, without certificates. This is only his suggestions, not suggestions. It is his take what is happening in the society.
But it's changing. It's changing. And if there is an issue, as lawyers, we can take in the stand and work for them. Now there is a lot of change. People are understanding. At
He
least
says where to get the genetic test carried out. This is by advocate Ellen Sridhar.
I do not know which state you belong. I presume you're from Tamil Nadu. All the government hospitals here in Tamil Nadu, if you are from Tamil Nadu, I'll tell you, your name sounds Sridhar. I do not know whether you're from South, but here in Tamil Nadu, all the government hospitals have they have special wards for transgenders, special everything for the transgender persons. Everything can be performed. Certain things they have to pay, have a little payment for them. Otherwise, it's all done free of cost. So all the government hospitals, so they have a circular for them to carry forward. So after this enactment, any hospital cannot deny. Even a private hospital, they cannot deny, because the law says healthcare is available. You have to be given. There are sometimes, usually even for a common cold or a fever, they will be denied entry. Today, no one can discriminate a person only because they are transgender. but you are asking a particular thing. This is carried out in the government hospitals. That is free of cost. But there are clinics, there are special clinics coming up for them, but that has not taken a big wing. But this medicine for the transgender persons will take a bigger wing, maybe from a decade or so. This will be a separate medicine as a field. They will start specializing in this.
Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali. Better. Yeah. So thank you, Sister Adi Lakshmi. It was a quite illumination of the house and the society at large can be seen at night when we will go for the Choti Diwali and tomorrow. But illumination with the thought processes was a session which we have seen today. And we are quite thankful to you to give an insights on a topic, which, as you rightly said, is at an nascent stage, but people are quite receptive about it. And since tomorrow there is a Diwali, and till now we are going regularly with the sessions, though from next week onwards we will be doing weekend. Tomorrow is at 10 a.m. morning because of Diwali. Habits, the Key to Success by Professor Dr. Raj Singh, who is a Vice Chancellor in Jain University down south in Karnataka. So do stay connected. It's a snippet. It will wind up in maximum half an hour. So everyone stay safe, stay blessed, and enjoy your Diwali. And let's hope the nation becomes corona, not only nation, but the entire world becomes corona free. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you.
Thank you.